There are 5 different soldier classes in Last Train Home. 6 if we count this little guy, the dog. Some of these classes aren't worth the investment. On the other hand, there is one that is completely busted and can single-handedly win you the whole game. In this video, I'm gonna go over all of these classes and putting them into this tier list. Whether you have never played Last Train Home and have no idea of what classes you should focus on when starting, or if you're running into some difficulties while doing so, I'll guarantee that after watching this, you will no longer have these problems. Let's start with a Rifleman. We can say it's our default class, a common soldier with no specialties other than a rifle with a bayonet. There is one thing and one thing alone that the Rifleman is good at. That is its bayonet charge ability that one-shots most of the enemy units when successful, and the yelling before starting the kamikaze run. That's also pretty nice on the Rifleman. In the first few chapters of the campaign, the Rifleman is actually a solid unit. It's somewhat fast, has a decent range, and brings some firepower with his rifle. Worth mentioning that because it's so quick, that makes him a good candidate to do the stealth takedowns. In terms of passive skills and abilities, there's nothing crazy here. A defense increase and a more powerful melee defense and attack, but that's about it. So all in all, the Rifleman is a good starter, but brings nowhere near the value of other classes when it actually matters. This is why we put the Rifleman in the D tier. Now mixing it up with a fun one, the dog. If I remember correctly, unfortunately, there's only a handful of times you get to have the dog on your squad throughout the campaign. However, on the DLC Legion Tales, there's a lot more gameplay involving this class. By the way, if you liked Last Train Home but haven't tried this DLC, Legion Tales, you should. It's pretty good and worth the money. You can find a link for it in the description below. And while you're there, consider subscribing to the channel. A lot of more good stuff yet to come. There are 2 enormous downsides to the dog class. The first is that you can never pet the dog, shame on the developers. The second one is that the dog cannot fire a weapon. I know, it would be pretty stupid if it could, but these are big downsides for this class. If you're building a squad expecting to go out guns blazing, the dog kind of becomes a liability because he always needs to go in melee range to attack. If you choose not to do that, it's one less useful unit you have in combat. But not all is bad about this class. There are missions in the DLC where your whole team consists of one dog and one soldier. This is where the dog class shines. You're heavily dependent on the dog to pretty much do all the heavy lifting of killing all the enemies stealthy. The dog is the fastest class in the game, and it's not even close. It can very rapidly move out of cover, kill one enemy unit, and return to cover, all while the other enemies are still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Not only this, but it's quite tanky. It does have more health than the ordinary soldier. What is the dog class tier? Despite being the fastest and tankiest, it is still a unit that is extremely situational for me to put it high on the list. Therefore, we give the dog class a C. Continuing with more fun, explosions. The Grenadier Class. Drawbacks. It's a slow unit. Unlike the Rifleman, the weapon of choice is a short rifle, which is a bit worse. Passive abilities are pretty much worthless, but grenades, and also landmines. The 2 big answers to take care of dangerous enemy vehicles such as tanks. While there are a lot of drawbacks when comparing it with other classes, this particular set of skills, explosives, is very important. A timely thrown grenade can wipe out a lot of enemies at once, like those big patrols you see going up and down the roads. These can even be thrown from the other side of buildings. It's one of the most powerful and impactful items in the game, but when it comes to dealing with vehicles, nothing beats a landmine. Again, the Grenadier is the only class that can throw grenades or use landmines. It's not very hard to deal with a single armored car, even by shooting it down with a full squad combined. Now, if we're talking about tanks, that's a whole different story. Trying to do this will result in casualties, and that's where the landmines come in. They are strongly effective. The Grenadier can also throw smoke bombs, but to be honest, I don't even know how this works. I've beaten the game and the DLC, and I've never used a single one. traded them all for money or other more important items. This alone should tell you how necessary smoke bombs are. Probably not at all. The Grenadier is important only because of the grenades and the landmines. If it wasn't for these, I'd say it'd probably be one of the worst classes. Since this is not the case, we move the Grenadier to the B tier. Now, one of my personal favorites, the Machinegunner. His weapon is, you guessed it, a machine gun. Go figure. The best ability is already available on the very first level of the class. That's focus fire, and what it is basically an Overwatch. You set up the machine gun, which increases accuracy and range. While in this mode, the unit cannot move, but it can rotate the machine gun, and it's actually a very fast thing to do. In the first few campaign areas, a single well-positioned machine gunner can mow down dozens of enemies on its own. It's perfect to guard a flank, or even to start an assault to fire, and works similarly, but again, to be honest, never used it. His passives are okay-ish, it's about increasing his chance to hit, and that's fine. Normal movement speed and a better than average weapon. Talking about weapons, one thing you should prioritize is to upgrade the tiers of the weapons your soldiers are using. It's a nasty change going from tier 1 to the final tier 3. You can buy better weapons from traders easily. So in the end, there's one good important skill that you rely on the machine gunner for, because for everything else you would probably be using a different better class. This puts the machine gunner as a B on the tier list. Now, someone called the doctor? Of course we need someone to heal injured soldiers. That's the medic class. I'm sorry to disappoint you if you like playing healers, but this class sucks. When one of your soldiers loses all health, they get into a down state. One could guess that only a medic can revive him at that point, right? Nope. Every single class can do it. It's called Stabilize, and it's an ability available to every class. The difference is that the medic can also heal, something no other class can do. That makes it unique, right? Nope. There are also healing stations on the missions where one of your soldiers can fully heal, so the abilities that would make the medic a must-have are completely replaceable. Sure, I've relied upon a medic before on more than one mission to heal my units, but was that absolutely necessary? Probably not. And because you're quick save and quick load a bunch of times over, this class becomes even more futile. For the weapon, it uses the handgun, which again is one of the worst weapons. As for passive skills, these are mostly providing AoE buffs, such as an increase in defense or attack for your other units. Did I ever notice a difference? Again, nope. By the time I was playing the last missions of the campaign, I was only putting one medic out of a team of 8 because I had the space. If this were a team of 5 or 6 maximum, I'd probably be playing without one. It's bad, doesn't add much, and because of that, it's an F tier for me. And now finally we reach the completely busted class, and without any doubt, my favorite. The total opposite of the medic, because it does almost everything better than any other class. There we have it, the Scout. An overpowered unit that I still don't understand why it wasn't nerfed. Do you want to hide in plain sight, not needing any tall grass or bushes? Use the Scout. Do you want the fastest silent unit? Use the Scout. Do you want a one-shot ability that crits and when combined with multiple units can destroy vehicles in seconds? Use the Scout. The crazy part is, that isn't half of it. I believe that if scouts could throw grenades or use landmines, you could just remove all the other classes and the game would have one single difficulty, easy mode. If you want to do these missions like a walk on the beach, focus on leveling up your scouts so that they can reach maximum level and unlock everything available in their arsenal. The scout uses a sniper rifle as weapon, which is probably the best one in the game. The range is huge, the chance to hit is amazing, and the damage is high. Also, even on the very first level of this class, they have the recon ability. Most likely the one every single player will use the most throughout the whole game. As for passive abilities, two of the best. Camouflage, which grants the ability to stay hidden anywhere in plain sight when not moving, and Quick Feet, which increases their movement speed. Worth mentioning that at level 5, the maximum level, it unlocks Ghost. With this last one, you can now move in silent mode without speed penalties, and yes, it's completely broken. If all this sounds like too much already in comparison with others, it's not. There's more. The Scout also has 3 other amazing abilities. The first is Distract, the bread and butter of stealth mechanics. Throw a rock and the enemy turns and moves to check it out. Then we also have Crit Shot that I mentioned before. It's really powerful because it one-shots pretty much everyone at any given time in or out of cover. Now imagine what you can do with 6 scouts and 6 crit shots at once. It's a killing squad. Finally, the one ability that puts focused fire, the Overwatch skill from the Machine Gunner, in shambles. It's Death Zone, a bigger, more powerful but slower Overwatch. Yes, it's slower, but kind of ignores cover a bit because it's a sniper rifle after all. Once again, if you have a couple of scouts doing this at once, the only way to get through is if you run out of ammo or they send in tanks. I think I've proven my point. We can put the Scout into the S+ tier, but even that would be low. I guess there's a reason after all. The highest tier is the letter S, and that's because of the Scout. We can change it to the Scout tier because, let's face it, no other class comes even close. With all the classes now on the tier list, if you want to take one thing away from this video, it's the following. The Scout class is all you are going to need most of the time, and it should be the one you focus on. All the other classes also bring something to the table. Granted, in a lot of cases not much, but they blend in well with 4 to 5 scouts to do those little things they can. Looking back at the tier list, I have a question for you. Do you agree with these choices? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're into strategy war games like Last Train Home, I have another one lined up for you. Watch my All Quiet in the Trenches video up next. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye!